I'd like to lose my voice. I'd like to lose my eyes. I'd like to lose my hearing. I'd like to lose myself forever.
So I guess she kills herself or something? Nope, she stabs it all. Forgot. Singing about.
Uscite dal mio castello, Madame Adoré, uscite dal mio castello. Oh, quante belle figlie, Madame Adoré, oh, quante belle figlie. So belle me le tengo, Madame Adoré. Uscite dal mio castello, Madame Adoré.
Wasn't able to get through this yesterday. I started in the same segment, but I kept on falling to the earth. It bugged out on me. So I had to redo the chapter. Should be able to beat this pretty shortly though. Wonder what they're singing about. Prison for children. An interesting time to grow up. Would have been during World War II. Italy, for example. Or anywhere over there in Europe.
We learn so many things at school, and so we have to attend. How would we get on if we didn't? I'm not like the others, Mom. Why not?
Follow the screams, I guess.
Mr. Onofrio is very kind and helps us. If he's not here, I have good reason to be afraid. I do a lot of bad things. I don't tell anyone, but Mom knows just the same.
Seen that one. I need a damn map. Okay, not through here already.
Renee is kind to Don Gino, but he always frightens me.
I guess she talks to her about herself in a third person. For a minute there, I thought Renee was been like maybe her daughter or somebody, or her mom. I mean.
Don Gino knows everything. He speaks to God and he tells him lots of things.
Okay, fuck, I'm turned around. Wasn't paying attention.
My schoolmates, when the light's there.
There's a rabbit. Man, it's like Frank. Alright, I think I went this way. I got that song melody stuck in my head. Doing a circle here. Just try to keep heading down. I do that.
When I was little, I never used to sleep. Poor Mom. Mr. Onofrio is so nice. I'm bad because I'm not kind.
She sure is hard on herself.
Mom always has to work because it's so cold in winter.
It's a weird ass picture. Okay, let's see what you said.
Mr. Onofrio helps Mom. How would we manage if you didn't?
He's looking like he's laying her down by the fire. Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks sexual.
My baby Charlotte is so beautiful, and she's so good. But Renee isn't. There are a lot of them. They want to hurt me. They fly. Even Charlotte can't help me.
The birds. Yeah, birds can be dicks. That's for sure, Renee. Who didn't?
Mom works so hard because I have to eat, or I won't grow.
Yep, that's where I gotta go. Oh shit, I turned around. I wonder if it's just an endless loop until you find all the 15 or 17 pictures. Whoa. What the hell happened?
What's happened? What is this place? Maybe I'm dead. I can't see any light. Maybe I am dead. I can't get up. What's going on? What's happening to me? There's no one here, but these noises. God, my head is killing me. I can't keep my eyes open.
God, these load times are so annoying, man. Not too shabby. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's where they put you in bed. It's horribly creepy. What the fuck? Oh, they're taking her to the lobotomy room, or the ES. Electroshock room. Ah! Ooh, secret chapter.
My medical file again. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anymore. There's only confusion. There were some who had scarcely seen me. They thought they knew me and understood what was happening to me and could decide about my life.
What the fuck? Here's the door over there. Here we go. God, what a nightmare. Why would you fucking come back to this place? I guess you'd just be at the end of your life and you kind of... She wanted to establish facts from fiction because a lot of her time, I guess she was so traumatized that it all just kind of ran together and became a giant confusion. God damn, look like this place is bombed. Alright. A little confused now. This is alright. Alright, let's go through here. Nothing here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, a little old school projector.
Nobody laughs in here. I mean, really laughs. Not those crazy fools who laugh because people say they're mad. I don't know why they laugh out loud. They say I'm mad too, but I never feel like laughing. People used to laugh at me, but they were right, you know? You can't always cry and people laugh when they're afraid, don't they? It happened to you, not to me. It's better that way. They do that to show they're lucky. You mustn't take offense because it's true. And deep down, it's just like pity, if you see what I mean. But then you think about your own situation, and you laugh because you feel lucky that everything's going to get better, that it's all shit. It's all shit, this place. You're not trying to tell me it's not true, are you? An intelligent person, educated, not like me. And if I can see it's a load of shit, just imagine how much better you understand it. No, come on. No. I feel fine here, you know? After all, I can do and say anything I want.
Can I put the other one on there? Stop spinning, you goddamn thing. Hey! Alright, whatever. No doing that. Oh, there it goes. But I can't change the reel. Renee, 1943. Yeah. Movie time, I guess. I guess that's Renee. Pretty. She'd be so scary to be sexually attractive and that vulnerable. Alright. And I'm like a mental institution, you know? Yep, sometimes pretty people have it the worst. They become preyed upon at their, gentle spirits. Or, someone like an asylum, lunatic asylum or whatever. Huh.
August 28th, 1942. We hereby notify you of the death of Ada T., mother of Renee T., a patient in your institution. No known relative. Sincerely yours, Onofrio P. I have no one left in the world. Nobody at all. Solitude is very strange. It muffles everything, slows it down. It's an endless scream that makes no sound. A silent scream. I can't stop looking at myself. I will never leave this place. There is nobody up there for me. These walls have become my skin, and the wretched desperation within them is my soul without a voice. Here, nobody weeps anymore. How I would love to feel life, desperation, anger. I've stopped dreaming, daydreaming, maybe even thinking. I've lived in a reality which has corroded me and has stripped me of everything, even my ability to feel pain.
One lady's kissing his feet. Do 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 do. What are you gonna do, Renee? I would say, as far as hoping something good happens to her, that she'd meet someone she loves, but I'm sure after all she's been through, she kind of lost all. Sex drive and stuff like that. So it would have to be like a lesbian relationship, and that would be crazy, and she's lost her mind, so she's not gonna have any confidence. It'd be hard. Alright. See what happens. It's just a dead end, it looks like. Yep. I don't think I can climb that tower. This elevator is not working. Scaffolding, whatever. Tower. Go up. Oh. Shit. Missed something. I gotta backtrack and wander around some. Go this way. This one. Nope. There you go. Creep. I don't know, it's just simple, it's so unnerving. Just the background sounds too, just creepy as all God. One thing about these games that I wish they would do is a lot of games like this, they don't give you the ability to run, so it's just really slow going. Dick-a-dick-a-dick-a-dick-a-doo. I bought the new Paranormal Activity game, but I literally can't get the fucking thing to work. I mean, I tried moving my virtual reality camera, and the hands won't line up. I can't get it to be calibrated. I just can't get I can't get out of the first scene in it. I'm gonna try it again after this, see if I fucked up something. At least I'm gonna broadcast it and make fun of it. Well, missing something here. I don't know what. I think the one scene that pissed me off the most in this game is where you had to go into the room, close the windows, and then close the door. And the only hint it was said was that she was left in the dark in here. People were left in the dark, and you could hear them screaming or something. So I just went around trying to figure out what to do. I had to go in a room, close the door, and close the windows. I went all the way back to the start. That makes me think I need to go back that way. I just missed a room or something. Jesus. It's crucifixion. Try to stamp this fucking peeper. Big old eye there just blinking at you. Bill! So it takes you a fucking half hour to backtrack. Maybe the power's on or something. Oh. It's starting to look like I'm gonna have to check a guide. Have it one more shot. Come on, buddy. Let's get this show on the road. Can't interact with these things. They should eventually stop on their own. Able to go through there. Able to go through there. Okay, through there. Dead end is some radiators. Isn't there a room with a phone on it? Or was that in the office? Back here, bunch of boxes of books and shit. Where I started. And I'm back over here again. Huh. I bet I have to go back in that room and close the door. I'll try sweeping through here one more time. Can't get anything. It just automatically turns off, dude. Super creepy segment and the tedium of not knowing what to do. Yep, I'm officially frustrated. I get pissed off. My mind just like rages out and I go blank. What the fuck? Hmm. I guess even he's got bars in his windows. Yeah. Okay, it's called Town of Light, Chapter 14. God, I can't believe I got turned around so quickly. Either I'm just missing something just totally retarded, or I'm literally fucking up big time here. Let's try closing the doors again. Nope, I can't even close them. They're locked. Try closing the windows. Windows are not even in existence. Okay. I have a little gander here, see what it says. Yeah, it was something retarded. I just missed a simple turn. I get tunnel vision sometimes. So it's right around that scaffolding room. But I'm at the very beginning again. Shit. Right here. This fucking set of doors right here. God, that's irritating. I already considered that room clear, so I just skip by it every time. I just see the closed doorway. It's bricked up now. Jesus.
May 5th, 1943. Renee's state of health is good. She is eating and speaking. Her spatial and temporal orientation is good. Therapy suspended. December 3rd. She calmly asks if she can leave the hospital. Evaluate patient for 6 months. May 2nd, 1944. Discharge denied despite favorable psychiatric opinion. The patient has no home or means of support. May 4th. The reasons why discharge is impossible are explained, and this is how Renee learned of her mother's death 2 years after the fact. May 5th. She tried to kill herself in the night by hanging herself with a sheet, saved by the nurses. Restrained to her bed, she once more tried to kill herself by suffocation. The decision has been taken to perform a transorbital lobotomy.
Not gonna miss another door.
Oh, man. 10th of June, 1944. Operation successful. Patient tranquil and collaborative. Motor coordination capacity reduced, but she's improving. Transferred to the tranquil department in the care of Dr. B. 25th of October. Continues to talk about Amara and her doll, Charlotte. The disturbances of motor capacity show slight signs of improvement. Difficulty walking, not capable of riding, and the nurses report that they have to help her dress, wash, and feed herself. In the summer of 1944, Renee was transferred back into my department. Aware of little, indifferent, hardly ever spoke. One day, she said, "When I find the courage to look at myself in the mirror, I see a young face which is aged and looks at me full of fear." She is a woman now who has changed profoundly compared to the girl that I had under my care several years ago. Only the sadness of her gaze and her intelligence are unchanged. She's so young, just 23 years old, but is lacking all vitality. Perhaps her condition may improve, but probably not. Her life has been thrown away. And nobody did a thing to try to avoid this.
So here you live above my mind. I wish you heard that my mind is trying to read yours and easy for a bird. Soon I'll meet you. I'll become the one you love.
2018. That was uplifting as all hell. It's sad. I didn't even give her. Like, who was wandering around in there? I guess sometime the place shut down. They freaking just let him loose, let her loose or something. It's weird they stopped doing that because they discovered a drug that would target the frontal lobe and do the sort of damage that the lobotomy did. Good game. Still haven't figured out how to use or show text. Yeah, it actually worked that time. I'll be damned.
My name is Renee. They told me that I have to write this diary, but I don't feel like it. It's not true that I feel better when I write. Actually, it's worse. I was a shy girl, and I just wanted to be like the others. But that's not what happened. No. I did things that, when I think about them now, eventually brought me here. Everything started with that damned light. It happened for the first time when I was still a little girl. I was 6 or 7. I was walking outside school when suddenly the noise started to melt into an indistinct rumble. The light increased out of all proportion and everything lost its meaning. I could no longer recognize anything. Objects, people, words, not even myself.
I had this event happen kind of like that. I partied hard with some friends of mine, and we experimented with LSD and stuff, and I guess they called it a flashback, but my other friend kind of saw it too. At least he did. He said it was my foster brother, actually. And we were walking down the hill, and it was winter time. And all of a sudden, it was night, and all of a sudden, things lit up. Bright white light, like the sun came out, kind of, you know. And it only happened for a few seconds, but I remember that. That was very odd. I wasn't on LSD at the time. I'd smoked pot and shit too, but I was just smoking a little bit of pot, and that happened. I don't know. I wasn't distorting at all. Like, I was completely aware of my faculties. I didn't lose my balance. Nothing changed. It was just like the sun came out and everything got really bright. My foster brother said, I believe I told him about it, and he said he saw it too.
I felt fear as a physical sensation. It prevented me from moving, from swallowing, from breathing. After God knows how long, everything went back to normal. But a new fear replaced the old one. Different, but terrible. Of the light coming back. And it did come back.
That was the only time I had that happen. I think I was around 16 years old. About probably 16 or 17, somewhere in between there.
My memory of those years is hazy. Between the age of about 7 and 10, my memories are disconnected, and I couldn't say how many times and how frequently the light used to come. My mother gave me a doll around that time. Charlotte. Thinking back to it makes me want to laugh. But at the beginning, I remembered that I was afraid of her. I thought she wanted to harm me, to kill me and take my place. But when the light came, she would stay beside me, and her presence.
And her present. She didn't even pronounce presents right. I hate this voice actor. Actress. Whatever. The weird thing about that experience was that I took LSD multiple times, and most of the time to go through the night, it was about a 8-hour experience, 7 or 8 hours. That'd be on it from one dose. And I had some weird shit happen, but not like that. So I described to some of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, you probably had a flashback," is what happened. The LSD makes deposits in your spine, or finds a way in your spine or something. And you probably popped your back, and you had a flashback. Which I was like, that would make sense, but I never had that experience before, and I wasn't on LSD at the time either. I mean, I dosed probably like 7 times or so. Nothing like Timothy Leary, who, ironically, I do share a birthday with.
Did not disturb me. Did not disturb me. I was able to talk to her, and so she became my best friend. At least until I was in grade 2, when everything changed. She didn't laugh at me, and if I had to say something to my mother, I asked her to say it. When things inside me turned bad, she was the only one I could turn to. Now all of this makes me blush, but Charlotte was a real friend to me. I knew that she was just a doll. I wasn't stupid, but at the same time, she was real too. I don't know how to explain it. It's difficult. My mother would...
My mother would cuddle her and tell her things. I guess she was trying to communicate with me, but back then I was too afraid to understand it. Dude, I fucking learned about that. Ow.
I didn't tell anyone about the light. I knew that something terrible was happening to me. I thought that I would die, and the shame I felt was so deep that an uncontrollable restlessness took over me. I was afraid when other people were nearby. I saw fingers pointed at me, mouths laughing, condemning me.
No, she just had a sensory overload. That's what happened. I don't know, maybe she had fucking pneumonia or something, too. You never know.
I tried to be alone. I would sit down on the ground and, curled up in the dark, I would repeat a word, any word, in continuation. This helped me not to think, not to lose myself. I would spend entire days like this, hoping that my mother would ignore me. Her compassionate words hurt me and terrorized me even more, and so I had to. Shout and shout and shout those words. After a few days, things got better, and little by little, I came out of my hiding place. But the fear was always there, under the surface, ready to strike me even harder.
God damn it. It's like, R2. Nope, not working. Oh, okay, there it goes.
I remember a recurring dream from that time. I used to have plenty of nightmares, but this particular one was so real that even today, I ask myself whether it could have possibly been just a dream. I was in bed, enveloped by the warmth of the blanket, in the dark, about to succumb to sleep, when I heard the bedroom door open. I turned to face the wall and did not have the courage to turn around.
Whew. Yeah, I used to get, I still do, I get night terrors sometimes. I'm not sure if they're called night terrors or whatever, but this is weird shit. This old laugh of mine. Crazy old laugh of mine. These weird ass shit. I just turned my mic off so you don't have to listen to the guy douchebag mow his lawn for 2 hours. they're like 2 hour long. My lawn guy is fucking awesome. 15 minutes flat. He's in and out. These guys are Sounds like they're trying to fucking race the things. Retarded. Stupid people, man. They're making fucking noise. It'll stop like go crawling back and forth. I don't know. There's like some fucking retarded terrorist out there with a lawnmower. Not even worth talking about, huh? It's a reoccurring dream. Let's hear it. Sound seems kind of wacky. Double check this here. Oh yeah, it's just stupid games. Fucked up sometimes. Right trigger, right trigger. There you go. Come on. Oh, she's not gonna talk now?
I remember a recurring dream from that time.
Must
I
be
used to
square.
have plenty of nightmares, but this particular one was so real that even today, I ask myself whether it could have possibly been just a dream. I was in bed, enveloped by the warmth of the blanket, in the dark, about to succumb to sleep, when I heard the bedroom door open. I turned to face the wall and did not have the courage to turn around.
She's getting fucking raped by someone, I think. Let's go.
I only saw a shadow cast against the wall by the light filtering in through the door. Then I heard the door close again, and I thought that it might have been my mother who, before going to bed, used to peep in to see whether I was sleeping. However, there was no time to breathe a sigh of relief, for footsteps approached the bed, and I heard the sound of breathing close by. Fear paralyzed me from head to toe. The blankets were pulled back. I remember the chill of fresh air on my spine. Someone sat on the bed, and I trembled. Then the dream finished. The light often came when I was at
Now
school.
that is a fucking
turning
creepy
my fellow
picture.
pupils into puppets that would terrorize me. To me, they appeared transformed, with the bloodied heads of animals stuck where their own heads should have been.
Holy shit.
I would curl up on the floor and would even wet myself. The teacher would try to console me and would smile at me, but her teeth and her eyes would terrify me even more. Things did change. I don't know why, perhaps during the second or third year of school.
I was tripping pretty bad one time, and I had a severe hallucination while I was driving from a Rainbow Fest party back home. and I was driving by Seattle, right by the skyscrapers and stuff. And you can look over, you can see the Space Needle, you can see all the buildings. But it was all fucked up, man. It was like literally everything was washed out in red, deep red. Like the sky was red, the background was red and black, and the buildings were black, and I could see them crumbling from the top down. Like it was just a hallucination. I knew it was a hallucination, but it was so real. Like or anything, I was in a safe spot where I just kept my car at the same spot behind the same dude. And anyways, so I'm just seeing this, and I don't even think I told my friend about it, and later, but I'm not sure. I don't even remember if I told him about it. But there was this, it was this weird. It was, and then there started to like be this strobe light effect, and on the hood of my car was a I don't know what they're called, but it's like a half snake, half woman. Like the snake parts on the bottom and the woman parts on top. So she's got naked boobs, and she's like writhing around on the hood of my car, trying to torture me by shoving things down my throat, like a bunch of needles going down my throat, like I was choking on needles. I could consider that a fucking seriously bad trip. I think I was on mushrooms and LSD or just some huge psycho drugs, and I never had. I mean, I've done it. I'd had my fair experience doing those stuff. I've been to Amsterdam and I got access to them. They sell mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, in coffee shops. There was and I never had anything like that. Man, that was so weird. It was kind of a nightmare city for me in a sense. It was freaking weird and it's so real.
It was more or less in the same period that I became friends with Bruna. I remember the sensation of joy I experienced when I felt almost normal. The light isn't coming. The dreams have gone, and I have a real friend, one who speaks to me. I would repeat this to myself proudly while looking in the mirror, where I no longer saw an embarrassing reflection.
What was her name? Bruna. It was like the first time I played Mario Brothers. I mean, I had like family and friends, and they're just kind of my nephews would sometimes. Well, one of them in particular would kind of. He was my best friend still, but sometimes he'd get he'd try to like I don't know. He'd just get kind of dominant in a sense, and like just annoy me or something, and he'd do these little things that would provoke me into because I always had a bad temper. So with enough provocation, I would respond with punch punch him in the fucking head or something like that. Hey, and I'd do the trick, but I would always get in so much trouble, and he would never get even admontation or a consequence for his provocational acts, which were pretty bad. But I remember when I first played Mario Brothers for the first time on my regular Nintendo, how I just felt this positivity that was flowed through the artwork, and just this this feeling that I would get from I don't know where at the time I can remember the exact situation, the exact time it felt like there was the developers that made this game, or just this Japanese Asian persuasion that came in to my life at that point, and there were just this overwhelming sense of just getting a break and just like, oh yes, I've had to deal with so much shit, and I was finally like getting that and sensation. And I think that's where my initial love for video games stemmed from. And ever since then, I was hooked on video games. Oh man, there's only been about 3 months in my life since then that I lost my passion for video games. And that's when I got my first apartment. I was in a weird situation. I'd still play them. I'd have, like, if the new Final Fantasy came out, I'd spend time on that and stuff. I remember Final Fantasy, I forget the one that really caught me. It's with Squall. The one with Squall, and he's like in college, and it's the end of the world, and all. It's a big trip. I don't really remember the game too much. But I'd also drink, smoke weed. So I just, I didn't overthink anything. It was just basic. End of the world, another one of these experiences, and there's this, bad guy or whatever. But there was, that's one game that I've always been in love with since, I don't know, since I was a little kid too. First Final Fantasy trip. And Zelda and all those, JRPGs. And even today, like my favorite games I'm playing right now are JRPGs as far as all that shit goes. Dark Souls and even the smaller ones like the Yakuzas or the Personas or Tales, whatever. Tales of whatever. I can't remember. I was really into those games. I haven't played the new one yet. It's harder to find time now because I don't know. Not enough talking for now. I'm going to go on to the next page in my diary.
It seemed to me that the world was a difficult place, but it was no longer impossible. Bruna.
I guess that'd be my
I did not understand
Bruna.
what Bruna saw in me, especially as she was almost 2 years older than me. I would tell her this every now and then, and she would joke about it, saying, "Nothing. I don't see anything in you," which is what I like about you. And then she would hug me.
I think still with the JRPGs, any of those games, I still find that in them. Well, but with a lot of the other developers and stuff, even like one of my favorite games is The Witcher, but still, I didn't like the underlying feeling. Everybody's calling you a freak, everybody's trying to spit on you every time you go to a town and stuff, and it would just lead to a lot of ambiance that led to a bad situation. There's a lot of characters in the stories that I considered bad. As a little creature that the elf lord turned into, he was cursed into. Like that really disturbed me at the time. I don't know what it was. It just like I identified with that, like I was being mocked. It felt like, which is it's crazy, but I understand the difference. But it still was this feeling that I had, like it's like mama, mama. Mama, and it's like just big blue eyes and stuff, and that's kind of like I got big blue eyes, so I was just like, oh, you sons of bitches. But with the JRPGs, they're always pretty solid and positive feelings I've been getting from, minus a few games here and there.
But one day, she was sad and pensive and said to me, "You and I are the same. Don't be fooled. You are reserved and honest, and I'm not. But that's the only difference between us. The only one." Then she began to cry. I was struck by the perception in her words, but only today, after re-examining my past, do I understand what she meant.
I had a imaginary friend growing up. I remember it was a teacher that actually taught us about this, and she explained that some people have imaginary friends, and I think it was a lesson. This must have been first grade, and she said that you wanted to make an imaginary friend or whatever. Mine was PR. Just like the letters P and R. Public relations, or, PR. And it was like, that was his name, PR. And I think what the ideal that I fell in love with is that when the teachers explained to us, she was like, now what you don't, some kids blame their imaginary friends on things they do. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in it to win it. PR, fuck it, that was my name for him. I can't remember if she assigned the name to me or where I got that name, but I had PR for about a month before I fell out of that phase. But I'd do weird stuff. Like, I don't know, just little basic stuff like leave the refrigerator open, or leave the milk out, or something stupid, some little dumb kid thing I forgot or whatever. I'm like, yeah, PR did it. Wasn't me. Made perfect sense to me as a little dumb kid, apparently. But yeah, I had an imaginary friend.
I no longer considered my body as something disgusting and ill. Far from it. I began to look at myself, to caress myself, and smell my own skin. I began to explore and experiment, finding physical pleasure. My ideas were not very clear, and I never spoke to anyone about these things. Bruna, however, spoke about them. She boasted about her love stories and her young men. To my eyes, she was very lucky, always being wooed.
I was very sexualized at a young age. I don't even know what grade. It must have been around first grade too. It couldn't have been much later than first grade. And my neighbor would have his cousin, I think it was his cousin, they would visit, and his cousin was about 4 years older than us or so. Like, if I was in first grade, she was in quite a bit older, so maybe 6th or 8th grade, maybe 8th grade or so. But apparently her and her cousin were kind of involved in, like, playing doctor, and shit kind of got out of control. Like, I remember one time in my treehouse, at a treehouse, and she was trying to get us to, she was teaching us how to have sex, quite literally. And so she would have sex with us, but I saw them do it. I think they were related, and it's really weird. But at the time, I was just like, it was just my friend, and I was turned on by her sexually, but I didn't get involved into any of that. I like to, be around her because I felt that, sex was kind of a loving feeling. But I never touched her, or like let her touch me or anything like that. Like, but it was still, it was an interesting neighbor, to say the least. They didn't live there for too long. I was always kind of a weird kid anyways. They're probably like, I probably spooked them out somehow or some way. Or they got the hint that they found out that they're fucking, the two cousins were fucking in my treehouse, and I was just like, like, asked me to do it. I'm like, nope. They didn't actually do it. It was just kind of like, this is what sex like. Stick it in here, and then that's kind of what they did. He stuck it in, and I saw her like spread herself open, and she was just like, I was like, ugh. Had no physical, like, that part. I think I was so young at that point that it didn't really have a physical attraction to it. But later on in my life, I started early. I was probably 11, 10 or 11, maybe 10 years old. I started getting into my first sexual experiences. I'd go to the clubs around town, which for a kid would be like Skateland or somewhere like that, some skating rink or something, and you listen to like Michael Jackson and, like Boys to Men and shit. And you do skate, we'd skate dance and stuff. I met girlfriends, like, I must have had 4 or 5 of them. And I'd ride my bike over to their house with my friends, and we'd just play around, play with their titties, finger fuck them, shit like that. It was fun, but yeah, I was compared to like a lot of my friends, especially growing up in high school and shit. I got involved really quickly with that sort of stuff, and to me, it was just every ordinary sort of day, sort of things. My brothers, I grew up, I was the youngest, so I had big brothers, and they always had porno around and shit that I could like look under. I know, check under their beds, and they could get wise to me, and then hide them in different places where I couldn't reach them. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't think it was exploring your own body should be considered a bad thing.
By marvelous, generous, and kind boys. Thus, I fantasized about her adventures, pretending that I was the main protagonist. But how could I ever be like her? Occasionally I recall that she had black and blue marks on her body, but I was so naive that I did not understand. I did not put 2 and 2 together. It was Don Gino who explained things to me a few years later. He told me about Bruna's father and brother, but I was already very ill. The light had returned, and that thing made me suffer even more. It was my world, and it was crumbling. When I spoke to Bruna about it, she turned her head away and was silent for a long time.
I was assuming that this was an imaginary friend, but I just skimmed through it at that point. Must have been distracted, but I've never been in that situation where I've been traumatized by, someone. It's I've seen this happen and stuff. Like I had HBO growing up, and they'd cover that sort of things, and but I was lucky enough not to be abused or be abusive, in any sort of way. It was just kind of not part of the repertoire. There's always love, and so I can't think of a point where like adults, like I had older brothers, and they were, it was just horseplay sort of shit, that would happen between brothers or freaking family or friends and stuff, just playing a game of grab ass or it just wasn't something that I couldn't relate to, but that I understand. I've seen it enough and read enough about it, and through literature and art and movies, shit like that, video games.
Prince Charming doesn't exist, Renee. At least not for us. I was 14 years old. I didn't think it was possible for a boy to look at me and desire me. When he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, I didn't say anything. I didn't even have the courage to look at him.
Almost at the end here. And this is it, folks, for this broadcast.
Things improved for a number of years, then suddenly everything came crashing down. One evening I came home drunk, and the following morning a terrible crisis overcame me all of a sudden. What had I done? I was terrified. I thought I'd lost my sight. The light burned my eyes from inside. The memories of the previous day emerged in bursts, images, flashes, which unleashed something monstrous inside me. Repetition of words was no longer sufficient. Now there was a voice in my head which repeated them louder than I did, and they were words of accusation and blame. So I covered my ears and shouted and hit my head against the wall and threw up.
Yeah, been there. It's a daily occurrence for me.
I remember the doctor, the wall filthy with blood and vomit. My mother wasn't looking at me. Bruna was crying but trying to hide it. Charlotte was beside me. I never told anyone what had happened. He came to visit me, but I refused to see him. I became agitated. I think he liked me, even though things turned out badly. In that period, I began to suffer from memory loss. The few things I learned didn't please me at all. He told me that I was looking for him. It was all my fault. Bruna told me that sometimes I got drunk. People in the village gossiped about me. Sometimes I was covered in black and blue marks. I didn't realize what was happening to me, what I was doing. I was no longer in control of my life. From my little corner.
And that's it. It goes on, but I didn't carry any of these pages. Maybe there's one last one here. Yep, Charlotte. Okay. Well, that was disturbing as fuck. And I gave you some disturbing options. Hopefully nothing too disturbing to bug you too much. It was just pictures of my life. I've been through a lot. I grew up fast. But, nothing about my upbringing was wrong. I grew up strong, and it just was a matter of circumstance, and nothing was bad about it. I'm thankful for everything. And thankful for this story. This shines a good light on keeping things as a transparency for mental illness, which is, prevalent, but not for video games. It's something that's kind of hasn't been really explored as much as it has lately. And, they don't tell you to seek psychological help. And the forewarning if you've been, plagued with mental illness. As far as I know, there's that GameCube game. This is the only other one I experienced in like 98 or 99? 98, I think it was, I can't even remember the name of it. But, I shouldn't bring it. I don't remember the name. But it was about this guy that would go insane. He'd have like a insane meter if things got too wild. It was kind of a trip through time and space or some shit. It was a really good game, and it did really well, though. But besides that, that was the forerunner. It never really picked up. Oddly enough, considering how popular it was, how well done it was, that no one ever really played on that level anymore. But there we go.